are a inspiration in this community. You're a director, choreographer, singer, musician. I want to learn more about you and go into a deep dive. But first and foremost, I have a problem. I have a predicament. So we're getting closer and closer to Christmas, right? And I've been tasked to decorate my Christmas tree. So while we're doing the interview, I just asked that you would just help me decorate this tree and help me get it done for Christmas.
I'll do it.
So first and foremost, you're not born and raised in Dawson, are you?
No, I came here about 25 years ago, almost. Gosh, that makes me feel old. But yeah, I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Were you raised there?
Yeah, I was. I was born in Montreal. And then my parents moved when I was 9 months old. I wasn't really there for very long.
Yeah.
I don't speak French or anything.
You were born and raised there. And how did you make your way to Dawson?
Corey, my husband, and I were living in a little house with our daughter, Megan. We had been trying to make life happen in Saskatoon, and it was just really hard. It just wouldn't happen. We couldn't seem to be employed at the same time, or Corey would be at school, and I was substitute teaching, and that's a tough job.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking like I would get a job there. It seemed like I'd be subbing forever, and I was making no money. So I started looking for other teaching jobs, and I saw the job for Dawson Creek, and I was like, wow, because there's pictures of the theater, and I was like, what a beautiful theater.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at these classes I'd get to teach. And then I was like, where is that? And then I laughed about it and stopped looking, because I was like, as if I'm going to go and live in Dawson's Creek, because that's what I used to call it then.
Oh my.
I know, it's terrible. But yeah, and then Corey, my husband, he saw me looking at it, and he was like, what's that? And I said, oh, it's this job, but it's in Dawson Creek, as if we'll ever go there.
Right.
And he was like, that looks like the perfect job for you. I think you should apply. And I was like, we're not going to move to Dawson Creek, as if we're going to do that.
Right.
But he convinced me, and it just so happened that when I sent in my application, there was someone coming to Dawson, or not to Saskatoon, pardon me, to interview people, and they saw my resume and they called me and were like, we're going to be there tomorrow, can we interview you? And so I was interviewed, and they were like, wow. And then they said, would you like to come to Dawson Creek and see the job? So they flew me here. When I got here, and I knew one person, my friend Carmen Moore lived here. So I called her up and I was like, hey, guess who this is? And she was like, I don't know, tell me. And I was like, it's Debbie Longley. And she was like, no way, shut up. And she was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm having a party tonight. You can walk over to my house. This is how you get there. And so I went and had this great party with her and her friends. Yeah, and then I spent a couple of days here, and I met Fred Clem, who was running the program at the time. And he gave me a tour of the school, and he was like, don't trust this person and keep this locked. They were doing Annie at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I came to an Annie practice just to see what it was like, and it was really fun. And my friend Kyle was in the cast, and that was the first time I ever met him. He was playing like all these bit parts.
Oh, that's where you met Kyle.
Yeah, that's the first time I met him.
And so who's Kyle, for anyone who doesn't know?
Kyle Kochanowski is one of my really good friends.
Yeah.
And he has worked with me on plays for a long time. And he actually works at the school as an educational assistant, but he has made costumes with me, and we've just done all sorts of crazy things together, him and I. He's one of the lovely things about Dawson is and people like you and these gentlemen here. They're the reason that I really like it here. It's that. And also this place, this magical theater.
Yeah.
It's been just an amazing place for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our viewers have seen what it looks like, or just at least the Reds, but it's truly outstanding. And even just performing here, because I obviously was in your class and did other productions and stuff, it just makes you feel good to perform in this space.
Yeah, and they don't build theaters like this in schools anymore.
Yeah.
Now, if they were building a school, they'd be like, let's build a cafetorium. And that's like a place where you can eat and also have an auditorium. And maybe you also wrestle there. And most of the time you can't hear. There's not good lighting because it's not a theater first. Kids who go to school here are really lucky. They have a fully lit theater with curtains and a screen and a lifting bar and a beautiful sound system. And they get to play in here and be in here all the time.
Yeah. So like, how was that like? Because you obviously had taught before in other theaters, right? And also directed?
So I went to a fine arts school, was in band, and I danced, I took ballet and jazz. And my mom, she had these recreation classes, they were called.
Yeah.
And they were in the community, and they were cheaper for people, for kids to do. And they'd have young student teachers. And so I did classes that way, and then the city started doing classes like that, and I actually taught drama for the first time. I think I was maybe like 17 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really young.
Yeah, and I did workshops and stuff. So I've been doing stuff like that for a really long time. And then I went to university, and I actually wanted to take the fine arts program.
Yeah.
But I was pregnant, and they said to me, "You can't do that now because you need to provide for your baby." And they were like, "So we recommend you become a teacher." And I was like, okay. So I applied to become a teacher. And then I found out that I could take more theater classes if it was my major. So I switched into the secondary program.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
You come to Dawson in what year? Would have it like 2000?
The first year of school I taught here was 2001, 2002.
Oh, wow.
And it was Kyle Kochanowski's grade 12 year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was his teacher
Wow.
before I was his friend. But actually the first time we met, we just had, like, you know when you meet someone and there's this spark?
Yeah.
And you know that there's, and we just had so much stuff to talk about and whatever,
Yeah.
even though I only met him for 10 minutes or something. And then when I was his teacher, I felt like I'm gonna probably be friends with this kid someday. And the rest is history.
Wow. And that happens a lot too with, it seems like, your crew and your collaborators too. Like, you've taught them, and then they come your closest collaborators. Kyle, Chelsea Mackay, obviously, she's your co-director and helps you with a number of performances.
Yeah.
And do you just find, you just have a shorthand with those people and you just vibe with them?
Absolutely. And I think too, one of my favorite things is to be here at Unchaga and to be with a bunch of people that love theater the way I do.
Yeah.
And they love comedy. They love bringing a joke up from a little baby and nursing it and enjoying it until it's an adult. They love that kind of stuff. They could sit around and talk about movies forever,
Yeah.
or go to a play and then sit for an hour and talk about it and what they would do and how they would have done it and
Right.
everything. And that's my favorite thing. Sometimes in my classes, we'd have all these stupid jokes just from being in class, and we would always be sitting there laughing and just enjoying the same things. Like, those kids like the same things that I do.
Yeah.
And I think in Dawson Creek, it's hard to find people like that, especially when you first come and you're an outsider.
Yeah.
Everyone has their kind of circle of friends, and sometimes they're a bit guarded about letting you in. So I started making my own friends. Not that I like hung out with my students by any means,
Yeah.
but we just knew that we liked the same stuff, and I'd keep in touch with them, or I'd be like, "Hey, there's this job I know about, and I think you'd be great about it. You should go and apply." Or I actually hired people here at the theater because we had a student tech program. When you're working on lights or sound or a play of any kind, you're usually around for a long time. And I always tried to keep it fun because we were here for a long time.
Yeah.
We'd have breaks and eat pizza, or like, I'd be like, "Look, we've been working for a while, so let's just sit down for 10 minutes. And then we'd sit and laugh and be ridiculous. So all of that, I think, has made, I don't know, it's like the community that I've paid into is paying back to me. So there's all these people like you, like Ryan Leewood, Emma Hawkins, Chelsea Mackay, just so many people.
Yeah.
Even my own daughter, she was in my class, Megan Longley,
Yeah.
and she has done amazing like editing and animation for me for years.
She's wonderful.
Like, since she was probably in like grade 10 or something.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, all those people, I taught them stuff.
Yeah.
And we would work and collaborate on things. And then they'd come back and want to do stuff with me. And also I'd be like, "Hey, do you want to come and work on this show? I know you can do this. We need someone to do that."
Yeah.
And Chelsea, in her grade 12 year, she choreographed Crazy for You for me. And I actually picked that show because I was like, this is a tap show, and Chelsea's going to be in grade 12.
Yeah.
And she would be so good at teaching people to tap. And there's these other kids that tap in the class. And
Yeah.
And so that was her kind of first time doing choreography and stuff. And now she's gone on to do all sorts of choreography and teach tap, like to a lot of different people, even to me as well. And also too, in Dawson, what I found is you have to make your own fun. Sometimes the thing that you want to do doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I joined the Pride Committee because I wanted to start putting on drag shows. And we approached them and were like, would you want to do something like this? And they were totally into it, and I've been doing stuff with them ever since. And I also did Rocky Horror with them.
Oh, yeah.
And that was super fun. And that was just like, my friends and I do this crazy show, and just honestly just have a blast.
Yeah. I remember one time we were talking, and you said, I just want to create a bunch of little me's that want to do similar sort of projects. And is that still the goal?
I think so. I don't know, kids are changing, although they're still the ones that love theater.
Yeah.
And the nice thing for me is because there's other people that I've taught to do this, and I've said to them, hey, you know, in your future, I hope you make your own plays.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important to say to your theater kids, this is something you could do. Because otherwise, people sit around waiting for somebody to do a show.
Yeah.
No, if you want to have a show, make the show. You do it. You know, you can do it.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten to the point where I don't have to always be the go-juice. There's stuff happening. Like Chelsea's teaching tap class. I can go join that if I want. I think there's an improv group in town.
Yeah, which is really cool.
So I think it's getting to the point now where there's enough people around doing cool stuff that I don't always have to be the one. And that's a great privilege that I really enjoy, to not have to do it all, because I've done it all for a really long time.
And if I could compliment you and make you even more uncomfortable, that's due to you. Chelsea putting on that show, other work that you see in the community from musicians and people that are dancing and stuff, it's usually from you because you've taught them and you've provided that inspiration, right?
But, you know, and dance is really, I don't know, I've always been in touch with the people who do dance because I love to dance. There'd be often times when I would help them do stuff here at Unchaga, and it's always been my goal when rentals come to Unchaga to make them have the best show possible.
Yeah.
We would always do special dance lighting. And just recently, DC Dawson Creek Dance Company, they have every second year, they do like a dance story. And they'll put together this whole choreography that makes a whole story. And so they've done one. They'll come and have meetings with me and say, this is something we would like to try. And I'll be like, okay, this is how you could do this. People are mining my experience because I just really know how this place works.
Yeah.
And I know how to pull the tricks out.
Yeah.
And I know how to do it so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, because I've invented it and I know how it works.
Yeah.
You can come to Unchaga and be like, I'd like to do a play, and how will I do it? And I'll be like, oh, we can hang this here. We can use this lift. We can close the curtains. We can use this lighting. We can, you know, oh, you want black light? I have black lights. You want smoke and fog? Oh, I've got a fog machine.
Yeah.
I love it when people come here and want to do art, and there's ways that I can help them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I just did a backdrop for my old student, Tatiana Dobrowolski.
Yeah.
She teaches at Tremblay, and she's doing a musical with her kids.
Oh, great.
And she was like, oh yeah, I have to have some sort of backdrop. I was like, oh, I can make that for you with my class. So we sewed all these like pieces of, you know, because we're famous for making things out of garbage here. Garbage is not garbage to us, it's a treasure. So we had all these pieces of muslin like that we Frankensteined into this backdrop, and we painted it for her, and I just took it over there on Tuesday morning, and she had her little musical. She was so happy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's like you're planting little seeds.
Yeah.
When you teach, I always tell people who haven't taught very much, they'll be like, oh, I just couldn't get through to this kid and I don't know what I should do. And I'm like, you don't understand. It doesn't have to happen right then. Maybe someday they'll remember that thing you said and something will grow from it. It doesn't always happen in the moment.
Right.
Sometimes people will come back to you later and say, I always remember this thing you said to me, and it really stuck with me, and it changed things for me later.
Yeah. And
I've had lots of theater students like contact me and say, you were a really great theater teacher. My old student, Sienna Wilson, I think, she actually wrote to me and she said, I've been going to theater school and I just want to let you know that you were an amazing theater teacher. She said, and I thought I knew, but then when I went to school, I knew even more that you were. And then that's the other thing is the kids will go and do different theater stuff, and then often they'll come back and teach me things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, improv games and lighting tricks. I love all of that. Anytime that someone learns something, or I'll even give them the opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
I'll be like, this is something we'd like to do in our show. Like I kind of did that with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I want to make this film. And I hired you and Ryan and we made a film.
Yeah, yeah, and that actually inspired us to go make, because I never thought we could make feature films here. And so working with you on that and seeing the way we approached it, that freed up in my mind any restraints, and I was like, oh, we can go do this. So thank you as well.
Oh, you're welcome. I had so much fun doing that.
I did
The
too.
Real Superheroes was a great time. I was thinking that I should really like dust that off and show it
I think it's a great idea.
to some kids, because there's got to be some younger kids who haven't seen it.
No, and they would love those characters.
One of my students was telling me, oh, that's why I joined the drama program, because I saw The Real Superheroes.
Oh, wow.
And I loved that movie.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And and the other thing that happened the other day, one of my students, he was talking about how he loved musicals, and he did a presentation about La La Land. And I said, what other musicals do you like? And he was like, oh, it's hard for me to name any. Mainly the ones that I've seen here at Unchaga. And he was like, I loved School of Rock, and I loved We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
And he started and he said, I loved 9 to 5 last year. And I was like, that's cool, because that's
wow.
that's why he seeks out musicals, because he saw some here. And he's not even one of my students. He just likes watching them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I was like, are you trying to get a good mark? It worked.
A+. What's your favorite show that you've done?
That I've done?
Yeah.
Singing was one of my
Singing?
favorites.
Singing in the
Yeah,
Rain?
Singing in the Rain. It really got to a really high level. Like I felt like that show got really good.
Yeah.
The dancing was so much fun.
Yeah.
After that one, after Broadway Melodies, people wouldn't stop clapping.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't. They just clapped and clapped, and you
Yeah.
guys were sitting there in your pose like.
Yeah.
When I look back on it, I should have just let you have a little bow. They do that in ballets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if someone's really amazing and does an amazing solo, they'll just like totally
Oh, really? At, like,
break
the
out
end of a
it,
scene.
and they just bow and whatever, and then they can get on with their lives, kind of thing.
I love Singing in the Rain as well.
Well, and I love that one because there was all the film aspect of it,
Yeah.
and just the way that all blended together. I'll look at the students that I have sometimes, and if they have something special that they know how to do, I'll be like, hey. And I'll be looking at the show, like, because I knew that you and Ryan could make movies.
Yeah.
And movies needed to be made for that.
And the other thing as well, because obviously in the silent movie portions of
Yeah,
the show,
yeah.
we did a lot of that, but also your idea originally was to make it rain in Unchaga.
Oh, yeah.
And you couldn't do that, so we
Nope.
actually had to go outside
Yep.
and shoot the number out by where the Alaska Hotel was.
Yes.
And we shot that, and your husband, Corey Grizz, he had a rain rig.
Yes, we made it together, him and I.
And that, to me personally, was like one of the highlights of school. I've never been able to like work on it. That was a set to me. And it was incredible that we
Well,
were
it
able
was
to do
really
that.
fun. It was super fun. And poor Cody, because we were getting the water from a hose at that Ironheads, he
Yeah.
was nice enough to let us use his water.
Yes.
When it comes out, it's freezing. And he was wet, and it just kept raining on him all night, and he was like, poor guy. And we had a little blanket for him.
Oh, poor. Yeah, and it was at night too.
Yes.
Because we had to have it
Because
at
we
night.
ran out of light, and then we started using lights.
And then the rain got on the lights and they
And
started blowing up.
They did blow up.
Yeah. You've been doing this for a number of years. You've done so many productions, so many acclaimed productions as well. What's next for you? Do you want to keep making wonderful productions? Do you want to do more acting? What did you want to do?
Oh, I always want to do more acting. There's a show I'd love to do with my husband, Corey.
Yes.
/Grizz. I'd like to do Misery with him. Yeah, and I'd be,
Oh,
you dirty bird. I'd be her, and he'd be the writer.
that would be awesome.
Wouldn't it be great? I want to do that so bad. I've wanted to do that for years, actually.
He would be fantastic, and so would you.
Yeah, and I'd get to hobble him. You can have your fantasies in this world, and they can come true.
Yeah, exactly. You can beat Grizz's legs off. It's perfect. I have had a fantastic time talking with you, as always. Legitimately, you're one of my favorite people in town.
Oh, you too. I really enjoy working with you. Every
you.
time we're finished a project, I'm like, no, I don't get to see Grady for a while.
There's also some relief.
No, usually
I don't
I'm
have to see
like,
Grady.
boo. Like Seriously, I feel like that. And it's partly because you're letting go of the project. But I also I don't know, the number of times that we'd just be sitting here during Real Superheroes, just sitting there talking about stuff and just dying laughing.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yes, and at that time I would just text you that stupid movie of my cat drawing, a drawing of my cat and me singing. Yes. Yeah, that was a great time for me.
It was an even better time for me to receive that. But I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we're very lucky to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
I love you very much, and I respect you very much. And
my time here in Dawson has been really like a dream come true in a lot of ways. If I was going to be a teacher, this is exactly the teacher that I wanted to be. And I had a drama teacher that she really favored people, and I had teachers that I wanted to be the opposite of. You know, she did some great work with her kids, don't get me wrong, but I've always tried to make my room really inclusive and supportive, because I never felt really safe to act in her class. I always felt worried about being judged by other people. Yeah. And I try to make my classes so different from that. And it's just been such a pleasure, you know. I have to admit, like, I'm getting tired, you know, because I'm getting older. And it's hard to, you know, when you've done this many musicals, you know, I've done like 25 to 30 musicals now. It's hard to find ones that you want to do, you know? Yeah. And you're like, should I do one again that I've already done? Someday I'm going to retire, and that'll be nice. Yeah. It'll be really nice.
It will be really nice.
Yeah. But also, it'll be a big change for me. Yeah. I love having access to this amazing place. Yeah. Like, I actually will unlock the door and walk in here, and I'll be like, hello, Unchaga, how you doing? I talk to her. To me, she's like amazing.
She's beautiful. She's been kind. She does steal things, though.
She does. She loves to steal things.
Unchaga, if you've ever worked in Unchaga Hall or anything like that, and you put your phone down, Unchaga will swallow that phone. Yes. And will take your things.
She's hungry. And if something's very important that you need for you're making something with, it's going to be gone. It'll be gone.
It's going to be gone.
Yeah.
But again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I think this tree looks great.
I think it's beautiful. I enjoyed decorating it with you.
Thank you. I made the greatest ornament ever.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. That's the extent of my artistic abilities.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you keep working on that.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And no, I won't. But that's our show here today. Again, thank you, Debbie, for taking the time to talk with us. This has been On Location with Grady MacTavish. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great Christmas, happy holidays, and love one another. Thank you. What a fantastic episode of Story Hives on Location, Dawson Creek. Thank you so much to Debbie Longley for taking the time to talk with us and share your amazing stories. Would you like to be a future guest on the program? Make sure you scan the QR code and fill out the form, and you can come aboard and share your stories as well. I'm Grady MacTavish, and thank you so much for watching Story Hives on Location, Dawson Creek.